Well, good morning.
Uh, Doctor.
Good morning, bedhead. Do you ever have bedhead?
Yeah, because I sleep on this side, this side of my hair sometimes flattens out a little bit.
I
So
can't imagine there's enough there to.
it's not a lot.
And
It
I'm not referring to your lack of hair. It's just your hairstyle,
right.
your cop cut.
Yeah.
It
This
doesn't leave a lot of
flattens
room.
out. It sticks. It looks like the coat of Buster. It looks like Buster's coat. It just stuck to his body. So I have to. Takes me all of about 12 seconds to fluff it up, and then I'm good to go again.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, all rise for mass, please.
Already?
Yep. Nice to have you here. Glad you're watching this morning. I know a lot of you are saying, God, I was hoping they were going to be on today. And here we are. Voila.
You asked and you
Yes.
begged, you pleaded, but we're back anyway.
Yeah. Um, Ronnie and I have put a lot of preparation into putting this show on for you today.
Literally minutes.
Yeah. You might be able to tell from the program. Please be seated and thank you. We'll be passing the basket in just a few minutes, I'm sure. As you can see, I have no blue screen behind me. And you're probably saying to yourself, Lou, why do you have no blue screen behind you?
That's Lou. Why do you have no blue screen behind you?
That's a great question. Minutes. The reason that we came on at 8:03 or 8:04 or whatever it was, minutes before we went on, I accidentally pulled part of my blue screen down. And so, in trying to fix that, I had a fall.
And broke his hip.
I hope I didn't. I don't feel any more pain than I'm already in, but I was actually wedged between my chair and my desk.
Oh
And
man, I wish the camera would have caught that.
I'm surprised you didn't see it, Ronnie, because I mean,
I'm, I was trying to open up YouTube. My gaze was averted.
oh man,
My Marvel gaze.
yeah. Okay, so we're glad that you're here this morning, and we've got lots to talk about, but we're not going to be able to do that without you, our valued viewers. If you already have subscribed to the show, thank you very much. Whereas about 2 weeks ago we were floating around the subscriber mark of 680, and we haven't been on for virtually 14 days, and we're at 675. So we lost five.
Oh,
We didn't even do anything, and we lost
yeah,
five viewers.
yeah.
So my point is, if you haven't subscribed to the show and you're watching right now, please be sure to do that. If you're missing our show intermittently because maybe we're not on, and in July we had two Sundays that we weren't on, click the bell, and when you do that, you'll get notifications a few minutes before each one of our shows comes on. For the most part,
So
go ahead.
looks like I was going to say some of the viewers that are here. John Billieu was first one in.
Hi, Johnny B.
Vicky's here, or as I like to say, Vicky.
User Viki.
Sasha is here. Rick Clementson was here. Melanie Dodson is here. What the hell? Oh, okay. Jason's here. Ken Blythe is here. Christine Kenzie is here. That's about it so far. We're doing good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's our core audience right there anyway, and the ones that we appreciate the most. If you haven't already done so, join us on the live chat. We love to know you're listening, and especially if you're a new viewer, we'll say hi to you, and you can participate with us as the show goes on. Okay, so coming up in our Fantasy draft this week, we're going to do most prolific album covers.
So we may have to explain to some of these people what an album is.
Oh, right. I hadn't thought about that.
A couple of them are youngsters. So way back in the day when people didn't drop an album, they put out, or they didn't drop a CD or drop anything. They put out this vinyl thing about 9 inches or so across, and it contained music that you put on a record player.
What is this record player you speak of?
It's only an hour show. I really don't.
Okay. The technology is probably too much for us anyway.
It would be a little bit, it's a little underwhelming, the technology involved.
Yeah.
But they used to put a lot of thought, as much as the songs, into the album artwork.
For sure.
Yes. And there are some iconic album covers out there. And so this might be one of those fantasy drafts where if you don't get the number one pick, you're not going to win. Because I think the distance, at least in my mind, the distance between number one and number two is pretty substantial, but we'll see.
Okay, so as our viewers this morning are checking in on the live chat, Copper Dan says he's hiking. That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
He's taking us with him. I feel like I'm getting my exercise for the day. I have some news that I'm going to share a little bit later in the program. It kind of just affects me, but in some ways you, our viewer, because I'm not sure how our shows are going to go for a while. But I'll get to that in a little bit. Just stay watching, and we'll talk about that. The fall that I spoke of here in the open didn't help that at all.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, well. Okay, so I want to talk baseball. Baseball is back, and I have been waiting for baseball for months and months and months, back since March.
Yeah.
When they went into spring training, I think. And the only problem is I have a real catch-22 situation in that I want to, as I proclaimed 2 weeks ago, I'm going to boycott the NFL.
Looking that way for me too.
And somebody says to me, well, why? What's your reasoning behind that? Well, I have several reasons which I don't think I need to go into. But I will say that I feel like if I boycott football, I probably should boycott Major League Baseball. But, Ronnie, is that so hypocritical that people are going to judge me?
Well, I mean, the bottom line is, hey, America, you have your choice. And the silent majority, unlike the loudmouth majority or minority,
mm-hmm.
we vote with our dollars. And so
it's really all we can do. Yes.
So if you choose not to endorse something, or you don't, if your political views or your ethical views don't line up with a particular store, you don't go to that store. So that's kind of what I'm going to do also. I'm going to vote with my dollars. And if you don't watch a particular TV show or a sport, that affects them, and maybe they'll change, maybe they won't.
Here's what I see about that. People think, well, that must have been terrible. My not spending my money with that company, it doesn't really do much. Well, the truth of the matter is, it actually does, because when you are moved to a point where you decide whether you're going to spend your money someplace or not, you think it's only you. But there's millions of other people just like you. And
right.
When we all do it, as Ronnie said, as a silent majority, when we all do it that way, it does have an effect, especially on television ratings, because I have to tell you, that's why Major League Sports will be back on TV, is because of all the money that is not being spent during this pandemic.
Yeah.
So yes, it does have an effect when you don't spend your money someplace.
Well, and it's been, you know, probably some major sports stars are more outspoken than they should be on certain issues. And you know what? I'm like, hey, everybody's allowed to an opinion, but their opinion isn't worth any more than, the guy at my local AM/PM, the guy that sells me gas. Um, a lot of athletes, especially the bigger ones, they don't have any more education than you or I do. Some of them were, they were coddled through high school and college. A lot of them are not that brilliant. So I'm not sure why. Same thing with actors. I'll just throw one out there. Alyssa Milano is very vocal. And you know what? She technically never graduated from high school. She had tutors on the set of Who's the Boss. She never went to college. So, I'm not sure, and not that you need an education to have an opinion, but it certainly helps you form an opinion if you have some education and you can look at history and, make your mind up. But I would tell anybody, I don't care what anybody's opinion is, but form your own opinions.
Right.
Don't base it off of an actor, a sports star, even politicians. Base your own opinion, because my views don't always line up 100% with the party that I'm registered to, and I definitely form my own opinions.
You don't have to be rich to be smart, and you don't have to be smart to be rich.
And that's 100% true.
You can quote me on that one. Okay, so baseball, Ronnie. Here are some of my observations over the last week. Number one, I cannot stand those cardboard cutouts that they're putting in seats. I feel like those pictures of those faces that I see on every pitch are haunting my dreams. And anybody that would pay $95 to have a cardboard cutout of them in a seat that's going to be seen on TV has bigger problems.
Yeah.
Narcissism, the least of which. So
I saw a guy apparently for maybe the Cardinals, because it said St. Louis. He bought 100 of the cutouts, so he dropped some cash to have his picture seen 100 different times.
I don't understand it. I mean,
Yeah.
It's his money, but I don't understand it.
If my butt can't be in the seat, then you know what? I don't need my picture in the seat.
Well, if you live in California, there are a couple of baseball teams you can follow. If you live in Northern California, it's the San Francisco Giants.
Or the Oakland A's.
I'm sorry, you're right. Or the Oakland A's. I was thinking Anaheim Angels. But the Dodgers are playing the Giants in Los Angeles. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this or not, but one of the season ticket holders for the Dodgers is former talk show host Mary Hart.
Okay. Not noticed that.
Yeah. When you're looking at the screen, the Giants and Dodgers are done with their series, aren't they? Or
I think they just did. Think they finished last night.
Yeah.
The Giants.
Right. They took one out of three.
Yeah.
But Mary Hart, if you're looking at a home game for the Dodgers anytime in the future, is on the right-hand side of your screen, right about at the edge of where the screen ends. So you can see her in almost every pitch that's thrown. And I'll tell you, the years have not been necessarily kind to her. Now, I have not a lot of room to talk. And certainly I'm not putting myself in the same category as Mary Hart. But it's, to me, it's not a very becoming picture. So
Yeah. Well, maybe she should pay. Maybe she should trade seats with somebody next to her.
Well, the guy that sits next to her is her 120-year-old husband, who has to be very, very wealthy.
You know what? I have to tell you, though, we went to a River Cats game, and the River Cats are the AAA affiliate of the San Francisco Giants.
And they're based here in Sacramento.
And they play right here in Sacramento, and they have a beautiful stadium in West Sacramento. But we went to a game with Vicky's parents. I think it was right around our anniversary. It may have been an anniversary present for all of us. We sat behind home plate, and it's amazing. Those are I've sat all over the place for baseball games. I sat down the first base line, which is also very close and very great seats. But behind home plate, that is the money shot right there. You can hear the fastball coming in and hitting the catcher's mitt, and it makes that sound.
Mm-hmm.
When the ball hits the bat, there's that distinctive sound. That is by far and away the best place to watch a Major League Baseball game.
For my 30th birthday, I believe it was, I sat in the older Yankee Stadium. They're in a new stadium now, but the last one, I sat in the first seat right behind home plate for my 30th birthday.
Wow.
I actually had my feet up on the wall. And
yeah.
What a treat that was. And you're right. It lends a whole new perspective to the way that you watch a game, because you're literally right there with the players.
I know
terra firma.
We were probably in about the fifth row back, which is just about right, because the way they scallop the seats, you're up above just a little bit. You're just a little above the height of the players. But the row in front of us, there were three different guys with radar guns. And they radar every single pitch.
Yeah.
Every single pitch. Like, why?
Yeah.
And plus, they show the pitch speed up on the scoreboard anyway.
Right.
So
well, that's not as accurate as my
whatever.
Speed gun.
Yeah. I don't know, but that was kind of a trip, and I mean that's how you're in good seats, is when the players or the team's own people are sitting right at the same level as you.
All right, let's move to the fake crowd noise. Come on.
It's I saw something it was Carmichael Dave. He was watching a game, and I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the A's. He was watching an A's game, and he said that wherever it was being played, their canned crowd noise was the best of all he's heard. So maybe somebody's getting it right, but for the most part, it's very obvious.
Who's that for? Is it for the players? Are they that self-deprecating that they need to be boosted in their morale when they get a hit? I mean, making 365.
I'm not even sure. Can the players actually hear that, or do they add that just on the production side?
I don't know. They also, it's ridiculous. It seems almost inappropriate at times when you hear it. Guy cheering for a ground out, I don't know about that. Please eliminate that. We don't need that. And also, Fox is showing how they can actually put digital people in all the seats to make the stadium look full.
Oh, nice.
Don't do that either. Okay, we all know what's going on.
Right.
The standards and levels of performance and entertainment in almost everything we do has been diminished so much at this point that we're just aware and we're oblivious to it anymore.
I mean, all you have to do is watch although NASCAR is allowing a few people in the stands.
Hmm.
There's probably, I don't know, 1,000 or so. I don't know, maybe twice that many people in the stands, but most of them are the drivers' family. Um, I don't. I've not seen anywhere where you can actually buy tickets for a NASCAR event still. So it must just be tickets that the drivers are handing out to people, and you can definitely look in the stands. You can see that they are well spaced apart. So
Oh yeah, there's no question. But when the winner ultimately crosses the finish line and pulls up to the flag stand to get the flag,
right, right,
there's you can see that people are not social distancing.
right. Yeah, that's true. So, and in fact, do you know where I was 5 years ago today?
Uh, should I?
I was in Indian.
Oh, I know what. I go ahead. I know
I was,
what it is.
I was in Indianapolis, and I got this shirt. It's we went to the Brickyard
Hmm.
race at Brickyard 400.
Right.
So they didn't call it that day. It was called something else, but it's the Brickyard 400. Um, we I was back east for a canine school. Our school was actually in Tennessee, but Indianapolis is a mere 6.5 hour jaunt. We had a rental car. We're like, what the hell? Let's go watch this race. And we had the most amazing seats. We sat in what they call the penthouse. My ticket says penthouse seat on it, but it's no penthouse. I'm here to tell you, it's instead of like hard metal stadium seats like you would normally sit on, they were individual seats, but and not padded in any way. They're just hard plastic seats, much like at a baseball game. But we did have a covering over the top of us, which was a
I
godsend
can imagine. Yeah.
because it was 90, I think like 92 degrees that day with 86% humidity. Um, I'm watching the race, and these seats are located right at the entrance to turn one, so it's right at the end of the front straight. Um, and so all I'm doing is moving my head like this, watching the cars go by, and sweat was rolling down my neck. It was so hot and miserable. Oh my God, I don't know how people do that back east.
Yeah.
Anybody back east, is the humidity killer, or do you ever get used to it?
No, I don't think so. I grew up in New Jersey, so I know humidity, and
My
my
God.
humidity seems to go hand in hand with lightning strikes and
Yeah,
thunder and
yeah.
thunder.
Well,
So
in that day, we were watching a storm that was off to the horizon. I don't know which direction I was looking, but we were a little concerned that they wouldn't get the race all in, but they did. No rain whatsoever. Uh, Christine says you never get used to the humidity. Well, that's good to know. So I guess when I leave California, we'll not be moving too far back east.
well, here's another situation affected by COVID-19. You know that the borders between the United States and Canada are closed to Americans. Americans
Okay.
cannot travel into Canada still,
Okay.
and that affects several teams.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and the Toronto Blue Jays will actually be playing their home games in Buffalo, New York. I'm guessing probably at the Buffalo, New York minor league team. That stadium is
Okay.
where they'll probably take place, and there have been some restrictions loosened for the players in terms of the criteria for COVID and social distancing. So that's another interesting facet of this.
Yeah, I saw that they were looking for a place to play.
Yeah.
Uh, so
All right,
Well,
so there you have baseball. Let's not forget, you guys are getting paid, okay? Uh, you know, these people that are opting out, I'm not so sure how I feel about that. Buster Posey from the Giants did it, but I think that's a cause that's well worth his sitting out at this time, raising
yeah, he's
two
got baby
adoptive
twins. He's
Yeah.
concerned about.
So I think
So
that's legitimate in terms of an excuse for not playing, but otherwise, I don't think that's the case. They're going to play 60 games in 67 days. That's a lot of baseball.
yeah,
What
yeah, and
was
that's
that?
just the regular season.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
and then it gets pretty lengthy. They whittled it down to 16 teams,
Yeah,
and then
that's also new, isn't it? That
yeah,
seems like a lot more than that's almost half the teams.
it is.
Your team is almost guaranteed. Flip a coin, they're either going to get in or they're not. I mean,
Right.
it comes down to that. There's about a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, I think you're right. So then they have the 3-game series, and instead of going back and forth from park to park traveling, they're going to have them all at one location.
That makes sense.
It's a perfect idea. So, and it
Yeah,
makes it even more important for you to be in that final group of 16.
right. And to be the top seeds.
What do you think of the new rule about extra inning baseball, Ron?
Oh, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, when you go to extra innings, each team starts the inning with a runner at second.
Okay, that's kind of a college rule.
Is it?
Yeah, they've done that in college. I've seen before. So
Who designates who that person is? I wonder. I don't. Do you put your fastest player on, or is it the next person to bat? What is it? An extra player? I'm confused. I don't think I understand that. Although
yeah,
I hear there have been a couple of extra inning games.
I'm not sure because Lord knows some teams have players that can fly.
Oh yeah, I saw one last night.
So yeah, hopefully they would have to pick somebody that's in the lineup, maybe like the number 9 batter or something, whoever the 9th batter is. But they're also doing. What do you think of this? This is also groundbreaking. Is the National League designated hitter?
Right.
I mean, that opens up a career for a lot more players. I saw that,
Especially guys that are approaching 40.
yes. Well, and then Jonas Cespedes is on the Mets.
Man, that home run that he hit. Wow.
And you know what? He's got an amazing arm, and he's fast, but his defensive skills are suspect. And so, yeah, towards the end of a game, you might have to pull him in a tight game when defense is really necessary. So this opens him up. He can play all 9 innings now. I think it's a great move, and I think people want to see more runs scored in a game.
And why waste time watching a pitcher strike out every time?
Right. Yeah.
It does nothing for anyone.
No. And I think the American League has been doing it right. I'm not sure what the disparity is actually if you look at it.
Traditionalists.
Right. Yeah, you've got that also. I'm kind of okay with it. I am. Change to me is like, I'm really not all about change, but I think I love it in the American League, and so I think I'm going to love it in the National League too.
Yeah, it extends the career of many great baseball players, so I'm all for that. And as a Yankee fan, primarily, I've been dealing with the designated hitter for years and years now at this point, and
right.
So I'm accustomed to it, and I think it just lends itself to better baseball.
Yeah, I think so too. And plus, you know what? There's a lot more strategy when you go to lift a pitcher, because many times now it's going to be a 2 in the National League. Yeah, it would be a 2-person swap, because you're going to swap out the pitcher, and then if he was up to bat next, you're going to have to make a double switch. So,
and they have to pitch to 3 batters unless they come in and get the 2 outs, or whatever's left.
Right. I also like that rule because, oh my God, that's so tedious
Well,
when
that's
they
just
pitch
it.
the one back.
All these changes, yeah, they may affect traditionalists in the way that you look at the game, and I understand that. But the fact is, the game is too long.
Yeah.
9 innings, I'm not suggesting they change that, but it takes too long to play 9 innings. And that's why they put that runner at second base in extra innings to try to expedite things.
I think that's another great rule change, honestly, is you gotta face a minimum amount of batters
Yeah,
because
Ken Blythe has it right. Yeah, Ken, you're right.
yeah, I mean, holy cow, when somebody comes in and pitches to one guy, to be lefty on lefty, or and then sometimes they put in a left-handed pitcher, and then they bring in a different hitter. They bring in the right-handed pitcher, or right-hand batter. I'm like, oh my God! And then he throws to one batter, or he throws 3 balls, and then they bring in another pitcher.
Right.
Like, oh God dang, you're killing me here.
Yeah. And then we'll take another commercial break while he's warming up.
Yep. What's he been doing in the bullpen, by the way? He's been warming up. So,
what more do you need?
Yeah, I don't know. Major League Baseball, I think they really do need something to kind of speed the game up a little bit. So hopefully these all help.
Yeah. So back to boycotting. I don't think I can go without watching baseball on TV. Living in California, the Giants are on practically every night on our sports channel here. And one of the things that I enjoy the most is the 2 announcers, which is another thing, Ronnie. They, Kipe and Kruko and Kipe were in San Francisco in the broadcast booth. And the game was played in Los Angeles. One of the guys was in Atlanta, and the other guy was in Florida. And then they had Ken Rosenthal, actually was the only one broadcasting from inside the park. That's a little weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
I always knew it would happen. Technology or not, I knew one day that would be the case. But somehow the chemistry is affected.
I love Kruko, and you know what? He has so much insight into the game. He will speculate something, and then sure enough, that's exactly what the team does. He is such I can't imagine that he never got into coaching or something, because it seems like he would be such a natural.
Yeah.
But you know what? I love him in the booth. And I think the Giants have, I don't watch a lot of other sports or teams. I do watch the A's also. But I think the Giants have one of the best announcing teams ever. I could just do it. And in fact, I remember way back in the day, and I can't even remember who the broadcasters were, but I used to watch the game on TV, but listen to it on radio.
That's where I was going next, Ronnie. If you've never listened to a baseball game on the radio, you've got to try that.
Yeah.
The guys that are really good at it, they paint such a beautiful picture of what's going on that you can imagine it in your mind. And, when you're watching it on the television, I think that you take that for granted. You see what's going on.
Right.
But I've actually gone as far as to go to a game in person and listen to the announcers on the radio from inside the venue.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, so this is a life hack. This is going back just about 10 minutes ago. If you ever go to a NASCAR race, make sure you get the headphones that have the radio inside, because you can't hear the announcer. The cars are so loud, you have to wear ear protection, because they rumble your insides when they go by. And you can't, where we were sitting, you can't see the pole with the lineup on it. So you have no idea who's in first place, who's down 6 laps. You have no idea. You're just watching cars go by, and that's it. Yeah. So I think it's the same thing at a baseball game. although you have the scoreboard in front of you, and it's major league stadiums have amazing scoreboards, so you can definitely, you have your finger on the pulse a little bit better than at a major race, but still it is nice to hear what's going on. And you don't get to see, when you're just looking down at the field, you're not necessarily looking in the bullpen or, to see who's warming up or anything. They make all those announcements right on the radio.
Yep.
So it's a big heads up. I enjoy that aspect of it.
All right, let's move on to our fantasy draft, which we have told you this week is going to be most iconic album covers.
Yeah. So if Lou Simmons,
Lon Simmons.
Lon Simmons, yes.
Yeah, he does radio for the Giants.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, very good.
Mm-hmm.
KNBR, I think, is their channel name, isn't it?
680 KNBR.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
San Francisco.
So anyway, if you guys can think of, or if you know what an album cover is, put it in the chat. Let's see what you guys think are some of the most iconic album covers out there.
All right, jump in right now because we're about to play our game. Let's see. I'm going to let you pick. See, this is a package of screws.
Okay.
And the number of screws in this package is behind my finger.
Okay.
And if you can get within 2, you'll go first, Ronnie. How many
what
screws?
size are they?
Oh, I don't have my glasses on, Ron. They're number 4 by 5/8.
4 by 5/8. Okay. I'm going to say
2 either way.
I'm going to say 18. Yeah, I'm looking at an iPad. I can't read it.
8.
8. Wow, I'm off. Okay.
So I'll go first.
All right.
Okay, let's see. Bat Out of Hell, says Ken Blythe. That's Meatloaf.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good album cover.
Christine, try to stick to the game here, okay? We're looking for album covers, not which albums you have.
She has 3 albums.
Tisha McGrew says Sticky Fingers. That's the one that had the zipper on the cover.
Yes.
Which was a marketing nightmare for the Rolling Stones because you couldn't pack as many albums into the boxes because the zipper was so pronounced that it took up space,
It's a real zipper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a working real zipper. You could unzip it and there was white underwear with their tongue, the Rolling Stones tongue logo on it.
I should hope. Were they tidy whities?
They were.
All right, so I've got my paper out
says
now.
Led Zeppelin 2 or 4. Those are Led Zeppelin had some pretty iconic covers too. Hair of the Dog says Nazareth. Sergeant Pepper.
Anon has my first pick. It's going to be Sergeant Pepper.
Yeah, I think that's the number 1. That is the number 1. And I was doing a little research on it. They had to pay one of the actors whose picture they really wanted to use $400 just to use his picture on their album. And they tried to, and he's like, yeah, I don't know anything about the album. Why would I want my picture on it? And so they tried to explain to him the premise behind it to where he finally bought off. And I can't remember who it was, but yeah, somebody.
Like Mickey Rooney?
No.
Oh, it's all right. Don't look for it now. We're in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the first round, the first pick I had, and I went with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. All right, Ronnie, you're up with your second pick in the first round and your first pick in the second.
Okay. I'm going to go. And do you have a pen? Are you keeping track here? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your cat?
No, it's a fly. I have the
Oh,
garage door open, and
it's very persistent. Okay, I'm going to say number 2 is Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
dark
That's
side.
the one with it looks like a triangle and a rainbow
A
coloring
pyramid,
coming in.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is one of my favorite album covers of all time. I think that's, and when they were looking for to commission this art, they said we don't want a picture, we don't want a photograph of anything, we want art. And so that's kind of how they came up with that.
Which is really why we picked this, because back in the 70s when we were kids, the album artwork that you had was so integral to selling albums.
Yeah.
They would pay some of the greatest artists, Peter Max,
Yeah.
guys like that were doing album covers. And
Unless you're the Beatles and you release the White Album.
right, which they did purposely just to show,
right. Just to show that, hey, we don't need no album cover.
No.
We could put it in a brown paper bag and people would buy it.
Right.
Yep. All right. So I took Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon as my first round pick. This next one, I'm going a little bit off the rails, but it's unbelievably iconic. It's Nirvana, Nevermind. And that's the one with the baby swimming naked in a pool. And you can see his little baby junk.
Okay. So Ronnie has Dark Side and Nirvana. What was it called? I'm sorry.
It's called Nevermind.
Nevermind. I'm having trouble writing, Ron.
Oh yeah.
It's, okay. So moving into my second pick in the second round, I think I'm going to go with.
Don't do it.
The Tubes.
Oh.
What was the name of that album, though?
I think it was probably. I think it's White Punks on Dope.
Okay.
Or you know what? It might be What Do You Want from Life. I think it's actually What Do You Want from Life.
Well, you know which one I have, right? It's
yes.
A baby's arm holding an apple.
Yes.
Isn't that it?
Yeah.
All right. And my third one, I'm going to go with Frampton Comes Alive.
Oh, that's a good one. Playing that black Les Paul.
And the whole album cover folded out to almost a life-size kind of a poster that you'd have. So I think that was instrumental to selling a lot of albums to women.
Well,
he was a dreamboat.
Oh yeah. Oh boy, that hair. Hair. Boy, that thing was. I don't know what shampoo he used. It must be the same one as Troy Polamalu uses because the hair was identical. Otis
Magoo says after you made your pick of Dark Side, he goes, Ronnie wins. And then I picked Tubes and Frampton. He goes, Lou wins. Hey, that's 2 votes, Otis. We have
You're
a
suspended.
rule. You're suspended from competition, okay. Otis.
I think I'm going to push it right over the top with this pick because you may have forgotten about this one.
Okay.
The Beatles, Abbey Road.
All right. Well, I remember that because of all the clues of Paul being dead.
Yeah. Well, on Abbey Road, I actually have a poster that is a little bit wider than the album cover that shows things on either side, and I love it. It was a gift from my daughter, and I absolutely love it.
Your wife is talking about naked people.
Ohio Players had the centerfold of an album, a naked lady covered in honey. Ooh, well.
Somebody was supposed to be sending us honey. What happened on that deal?
Yeah, somebody dropped the ball. Or the B in this case.
I haven't forgotten.
Somebody dropped the B.
Lou, would you like to sell that old radio behind you? No. But I have a new radio you might be interested to see, Ronnie. I got this for Father's Day. It came like 3 weeks after Father's Day.
It's right on time.
Okay, so Ronnie, let's see here. There's so much I have to move to get to this. Okay, so I had Sergeant Pepper, The Tubes, and Frampton Comes Alive.
Okay.
Go over yours again.
Right. Is that made by Victorola?
Yes, it is.
I just got that exact same radio.
You did.
It plays CDs.
Yep.
It has an auxiliary input to plug in. Yeah, and it lights up. I have that. I just put mine out in the garage. Ask Vicky. And the lights change colors, like 5 different colors.
There it goes.
Yep.
You can't really tell on camera, though. Look what it's
I
doing
love
to my
it.
blue screen.
Yep.
All right, so I got that one, too. Let me get that out of the way here. All right.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up a little bit, and if you can keep tabs, I'm going to start counting out the score here.
Okay.
Are you ready to keep score?
Those of you I'm ready. Or you?
Okay.
Did you say you're doing it?
I'm going to call it out to you, and you can put the little hash marks down.
I can do that. I got it ready.
Okay, let me see. First vote is. Let me see.
I don't think anybody's voted yet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Okay, got one for Ronnie. Got one for Lou. Got one for Ronnie. Got one for Ronnie. Got one for Ronnie. That's it so far.
Did you get that Ken Blythe vote?
Yes. Okay.
And then
Now I got. Hold on. Ken Blythe voted again. I got Chris Merchant voted Ron. Keisha voted Ronnie.
Got it. Jim Black.
Christine Kinsey, I'm running away with it. Christine votes Ronnie. Jim Black votes Ronnie.
Get
There's
those
a flag
votes in
or
now. What's
camera.
going on with my screen there? Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm running away with it.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and concede.
Vicky and Steve both say Lou, but I think I still got I got the popular vote here.
I only have one that I know of, and then
Vicky
so
you got
for
3
me?
now.
Oh, 3. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll concede. You're the winner this week.
And it just so happens that right there's
the dang trophy.
is the trophy. Thank you very little.
I'll tell you what. It's been a couple of weeks since I think I've had that trophy.
Yep. And you know what? So this, oh boy, it just doesn't come out that great. This is an album cover. There we go. It's by Ann Wilson. It's called Immortal, but it's got artwork on it instead of a picture, which was not a real popular thing to do it early on, to use artwork. Although somebody's album had, Andy Warhol did a lot of album covers for somebody. I think he did them for the Rolling Stones, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. Has anyone noticed that something that I usually do every week, I didn't do today? Has anybody noticed what that might be in the live chat? People always say,
noticed.
Why do you do that? You shouldn't do that while you're on the air. Has anybody noticed?
Steve Klein noticed.
Yes, smoke.
Yep.
Well, here's the story with the time that we have left. About a month ago, I woke up in the morning and had some numbness in the last 2 fingers of each one of my hands. And I thought, well, that'll certainly go away. It's no big deal. I've had sciatica before, and after a while that just kind of, goes away. Well, after about 3 weeks of it not going away, I decided that it was time to do a teleconference with my my family doctor, my primary care doctor. And I explained to him that I had some pain in my shoulders, a little bit of pain in my hand, and it felt like I was losing strength in my right hand, to the point that I could not even turn the ignition in my car with my right hand. I'd have to use my left hand to help. It was at that point I decided to do that teleconference with my doctor, and he said, you know what I think we ought to do? You know what we might could do? We better send you for an MRI of your neck. And I said, doctor, I don't really have pain in my neck other than Ronnie. And I don't see how. He goes, no, you have to understand that your spinal cord is tied in directly with your fingers on your hand, the higher ones on your neck. So, long story, make it even longer. I had my MRI done, and I guess they were very concerned about what was going on, so they placed it into an urgent case and got the MRI results back, before I even got to work. I drove from the doctor's office to my work, and before I got there, they had the results already. And those results, oh, for God's sakes, man. There we go. Sorry. Those results were that I have 5 vertebrae that are out of whack, and that I'm going to have fusion from C2 to C7. Not just 5 and 6 is what I thought it was. The reason for this and the urgency of it is that my spinal cord is being kinked. So it kind of has this look to it. Let's see. Like this. And it's supposed to be like this, and it's like this. And so the doctor said, we have no choice other than to operate, because it's just going to get worse. And if it worsens, the next step would be paralysis. And I think most of us would agree we don't really want to deal with that, although I'm already doing it with this hand. This is my right hand. I have no control over this finger whatsoever. I have no feeling right in through here. This finger, which is the fourth one from the fourth one from the thumb, is also out of whack. And I have no strength when I try to pick up things like this, or, as I said, turn the key. So in order for me to have the surgery, which I really don't want to have, they say there's about a 3-month recovery time.
Damn.
I have to quit smoking. Smoking has an effect on the blood and also on the fusion of the vertebrae in the back. It makes them softer and therefore much harder for them to heal. So I'm here to tell you that today is day 7 of my not smoking. In previous years when I've tried, the last time was 22 years ago when my daughter was born, I was cheating. And I'd have a cigarette here and there, even though I was on the patch. And the reason for that was because I don't think I had the right motivation. And in this case, I believe I do. And I don't have a lot of choice if I want to have a successful surgery. So I bring you all this information because I'm currently on disability. And I will be for the next 6 months. And so my question to you, our viewers, is this. How would you like to see more of Men Are So Smart? More episodes each week, more than just one live. What if we did, say, one on Monday, one on Thursday, and one on Sunday? Would you be interested in watching that? It would probably be on, I'm guessing, during the day, Ron?
Probably, yeah, that make more sense.
Although we could do nights. That wouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, so Christine says, good for you, Lou. Hoolies says, you got this. You can quit. Tisha says, yes, whatever you're capable of. Christine says, don't push yourself, Lou. I don't know if it's really pushing. It's just talking into a microphone. So, I don't know.
Well, again, yeah, it's hard to say. But certainly if there's not a lot of interest, there's not a lot of use in
Right.
putting you through it.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and there's certainly going to be some period when I know for sure you are not going to be up for it. I would imagine right post surgery for a week or two.
That's
If not,
exactly right. I have to wear that collar for at least 2 weeks.
yeah. So you're going to be definitely out of the game for a minute for sure.
Your wife says during the week should be at night.
Okay.
Christine says nights.
Well, there you go.
Well, I'm looking right now at our broadcast as we're nearing the end. It's 9:00 on the West Coast. And we have only 15 people in our live chat. That doesn't indicate to me that a lot of people are let down that we're not on. Corvette Ronnie needs a co-host. I know. We don't do the show.
Lie.
We don't do a show without the two of us.
Yeah.
So 2 day shows, 1 night show. During week should be evening. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to talk that over and figure out what's going to happen next. And so I'm quitting the smoking. Haven't had a cigarette in 7 days. I'm wearing a patch. I'm taking Wellbutrin, I believe it's called, which is something that helps with quitting smoking. It kind of takes the edge off, but I'll tell you what, the cravings are still there, Ronnie. It is so hard.
It's too bad. I can't remember what it's for, but there's a drug that they prescribe to people addicted to some type of drug. And if they take their prescription and then they were to take that drug, it makes them physically ill. It's too bad they can't come up with something like that for nicotine. To where if you get nicotine in your system, you actually get physically ill. And so you go to any extent possible to avoid it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're either going to do it or you aren't, Ronnie. You're either ready to do it or you aren't, whether you get sick or not. I can tell you that the last time I quit smoking was about 2 months before my daughter was born, and I was cheating. I'd have a smoke here and there, maybe 5 over a course of 2 months. But still, that's 5 more than you really should have if you're interested in doing this for the right reasons. My daughter's birth was very complicated. It wasn't just an easy birth. What the heck happened there? Okay. Is it my shirt? What the heck's going on? Okay, so anyway, there we go.
There it is.
And so when my daughter was born and they took both baby and mom into the room for recovery, I left the hospital and all the people that were there, and I ran over to a local liquor store, which practically was right across the street. And I got myself a beer and a pack of cigarettes and proceeded to have 2. And after I had 2, I threw up in the parking lot of the liquor store. And that was the last time I tried to quit, and that was 22 years ago, and maybe even 23. In any case, Randy Brazil says,
what?
Go ahead.
If I can just add this side note, I've seen 2 people die of cancer, and I've seen them literally, hours away from death. It is it's got to be the absolute worst possible way to die that I've ever seen. Ever. If you can do anything to avoid that, I think that, it's worth it. It's unbelievably painful. It's hard on the whole family, and just that vision of when somebody is in so much pain and there's no amount of drugs that they can give you that is going to completely take that edge off. It's awful. It's got to be one of the worst possible ways to die ever. So yeah, I would say, whatever you have to do,
Steve
patches.
Klein says try hypnosis.
Try anything.
Randy Brazil says, good job, Lou. I quit 11 years ago. Although I stopped smoking, I believe I traded alcohol for the cigarettes. Now working on stopping drinking altogether. One bridge at a time.
Yeah, and you know what? Alcohol is also harmful. It's to your liver. But I think if, in moderation, alcohol is not as much of a vice as cigarettes are. So as long as you kind of, you're not drinking a 12 pack every day, then you're all right.
12 pack. That's cute. Tisha says, well said, Ronnie. Christine says, trade candy for cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got to say that what I don't want to do is gain a whole lot of weight because I'm not smoking. So I'm being very cognizant of that.
I'll tell you, I watch, I love me some judge shows. There's one that's on Channel 31. It's called Caught in Providence. And it's Judge Frank Caprio from Providence, Rhode Island. And he talks about he smoked when he was younger and had to stop. And he traded cigarettes for carrots, for baby carrots.
I've heard of that.
Every time he had an urge to smoke, he would chew a baby carrot and not eat it, but just like chew on it, just like a rabbit would eat it. And it takes about the same amount of time to eat, but plus carrots they're not bad for you. So that might be a thing to do is, I know you're not going to go to the grocery store and buy these yourself, but next time Teresa goes, buy a couple bags of baby carrots and try that.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap up on that note right there. To this point, we will plan on being with you next Sunday morning for Sunday morning Mass.
Yep.
We'll let you know that right now so you can plan. And we'll be talking in the next 2 weeks or so about what our plan will be long term. And as soon as we have that, Christine says, hey, Lou, I'll stop eating pizza if you stop smoking for surgery. Don't stop eating pizza. Don't do that. So we'll wrap up what was an interesting show, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I'll stay on here a little bit longer if you want to chat. I'll keep my live chat up, but we'll say goodbye for now. Ronnie, anything from you?
Just that there is a Sunday down the road here. It's in 2 or 3 weeks where I have some training out at our range. So I know I won't be here. I don't have, I actually do have it in front of me. Hold on a second. I want to say it's August 16th. So 3 weeks from today, I won't be available. I'll be at our range shooting.
Okay.
All day long.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, we'll all mark our calendar. August 16th. We will not have a show on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Okay. As I said, I'll stick around on live chat. You can chat with me there.
I'll be around for a little while also.
Okay. And this has been another episode of Men Are So Smart for July the 26th, 2020. And thank you all for watching today. Okay. Bye.
If you're still standing, you may sit down now.